we finally got a new game for the Meta Quest 3 and Quest 3S that brings us a proper mixed reality experience. And this game is called Starship Home. So with that, let's dive right into it. Because until now, we have had so many awesome VR games for the Quest headsets. But sadly, mixed reality did not get the same success at all. And while there were some big VR titles like Asgard's Wrath 2 that added in a mixed reality mode to it, they couldn't really be called standalone experiences. But now, with Meta going all in for their new Quest 3S and original Quest 3, they have finally given developers access to the outside cameras of the headsets. So that means we can expect a lot more of big mixed reality games. And one of the first examples of this is from the indie studio called Creature that released their mixed reality game called Starship Home. So let's first start it by talking about the gameplay, because in here your adventure will start after receiving a misdelivered package, which turns out to be a kit to transform your entire living space into an actual starship. That means instead of transporting you directly into a virtual reality world, it will be your own living environment that is used for this gameplay. And without spoiling the story, the entire game can be divided in a total of 8 missions, where it is your task to visit different interstellar planets in search of various plant species that you have to rescue, with the ultimate goal of bringing the universe back into harmony. Now, while your ship is flying in outer space, it is this part of the gameplay that is essentially an on-rails experience. But while of course the scope cannot be compared to something like No Man's Sky, it kind of feels like it offers enough to explore within it, with a bunch of different activities to be involved before you head to your next location. This can go from fueling up your spaceship to tracking out the planets in orbit. But the most fun part starts when you finally got your hands on the plants that you are looking for, because to get rid of their evil blight, you will literally be diving into the dreams of the plant itself. And these can get quite crazy, but it is exactly those trippy weird sides of the immersive gaming experience that make it so appealing. Now, while you're inside these dreams, you will be completing some tasks in the form of a minigame. These can go from bouncing raindrops from the ceiling to squashing slugs while your hands are turned into tentacles. And once you've finally accomplished it, you will now be able to take care of your plants and see them grow in your terrarium. But while the overall gameplay is very enjoyable and finally making use of the mixed reality capabilities that the Quest headsets are capable of, sometimes it can get quite repetitive. But it is thanks to its cute and quirky look and its cartoon-like style that this doesn't feel as so much of a problem at all. And since it still has lots of surprises sprinkled everywhere, I do think it is a very chill game that you can easily spend a couple of hours into. However, it is important to keep in mind that the overall narrative is focused more towards the younger audience or families. And while adults can definitely enjoy it too, you can notice the target group a bit more because of the voices that are being used inside the game, so keep that in mind. But that gets us to the immersion. While technically, Starship Home could have easily placed everything in a virtual reality environment, I truly believe that the mixed reality pass-through is essential for this experience, because thanks to it, it really sells the illusion that you have stepped aboard a little escape pod. So when it comes to immersion, I think they managed to pull it off quite well for what the Quest headsets are capable of. And that gets us to the comfort. Now, because this is a room scale game, you won't need to worry about artificial locomotions like teleporting or dashing, besides the on-rails exploration that you do in your ship. That means that it is overall a very comfortable experience, since your room is in solid ground and mixed reality, which lets you easily walk from one spot to the other without getting motion sick. But while the Quest mixed reality pass-through is pretty good, you should keep in mind that it is still in very early days. But of course, this is the hardware we have at the moment, and the game cannot be faulted for that. Which gets us to the final conclusion. Starship Home is one of the first big mixed reality games to finally hit the Quest headsets. And thanks to Meta going all in on these features, we are sure to expect a lot more games like this to come in the near future. But for now, Starship Home manages to immerse the player into a flying spaceship that is on the mission of saving some extraordinary plants. And while it might have some repetition here and there, and also won't be the biggest game in your library, it is still a very unique experience and nothing we've seen so far. So I can't wait to see what other things they come up with in the future. But that's not all, because there are also some other must-play mixed reality games. So click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out. And of course, stay awesome.